Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dane TV. My name is Wes Rowdy Hogue, and we are here one more time on a Sunday night. And I believe this is the final time with the East Coast Winter League here at Stafford Motor Speedway, where we will be crowning a champion. I am here with you, as usual, with Paul Showtime Strickland. Paul, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty damn fantastic, Wes. We just got some awesome news yesterday afternoon. Stafford Speedway is a go. Going to be doing some open practice next Saturday at the track. This fat guy can finally get his pulled pork sandwich from the concession stands there at Stafford Motor Speedway, and we can finally go out and play race cars with our race car friends. Thank you guys so much for coming out here, joining us here for the championship night of the East Coast Winter League SK Modifieds at Stafford Motor Speedway. Couple of laps here, 2 laps of qualifying for each of these drivers. They got 5 minutes to get it done. We're riding on board with Ryan Borgs right now. Do want to take a quick look here at the championship standings, as we've got this graphic that was put together by Design Lab. Good all-time sponsor here for the East Coast Winter League guys. And Teddy Hodgdon, no surprise out front, 363 points. Ryan Libby is running second with a 337, and Ryan Blanchard is in third with 326 points. So the top 3 points participants there, and those guys have been fast all season long. This is race number 11 of 11 races, so lots of action coming up here, Wes. Man, oh man, I'm excited. It's going to be great to watch the race here tonight, but it's also going to be pretty fantastic to see just about all these guys at Stafford Motor Speedway next Saturday as we get to go down with some open practice.
Hear other racetracks are opening up around the country, especially a track like Stafford Motor Speedway that always puts on a show. So great news here to hear there. And also, with this being the finale, man, we've been here for almost all the 12 weeks for the East Coast Winter League. We've gotten to call some great action. We've seen names come and go through here. We've seen some drivers really become their own, so to say, Paul, such as a Ryan Libby, getting to see him, Kyle Ellie, getting to see him do what he does, as well as your points leader, Teddy Hodgdon. Teddy Hodgdon, to start off the season, just couldn't get things right, but it just took 1 week for his luck to flip on a switch, and now he's trying to win himself a championship.
Absolutely, and a familiar name that we just saw. He's actually on P1 right now, Ryan Borgs. He runs New Smyrna with us as well on Wednesday night, so pretty cool to see. My home track and Wes's home track, Ryan's running both of those series and seems to be pretty quick in both of them. But about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying here, and like we said, Stafford Motor Speedway getting ready to open the doors. They're releasing all the information tomorrow at some point with a press release, letting us all know what the restrictions are going to be, and the rules and the schedules and all that good stuff. So I don't know if we're going to be doing any camping out or any of that stuff right off the rip. I think they're just going to kind of skip right over the whole Spring Sizzler deal and wait for the fall final. But I can guarantee you, Wes, that's going to be one hell of a party.
Anytime there are race cars, there are parties. So just a couple minutes left in qualifying. Right now, sitting at the top of the board is Ryan Borgs. We get to call the action that he's a part of on Wednesday nights, so that's always fun. With the New Smyrna League, it's cool seeing him here at Stafford as well. So Ryan Borgs currently sitting at the top, and I believe we bring in the top 20 moves on automatically, and the rest of the field is figured out by heat races. But as you see, typically as seasons dwindle down, so do car counts. But I believe everybody's making the show, are they?
That's what it's looking like. Usually we're taking about 25 to 26, and just looking, that's about what we have here at the track. So far, only have 12 drivers that have taken time, so a lot of these guys are going to be banking on the heat races, which, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm good at qualifying. I can qualify in. Kyle Salza in the 13 takes that top spot from Ryan Borgs, about 1/10 of a second quicker, 18.625. Blistering lap time there. A lot of these guys, though, kind of sit there and wait for the tires to cool down, see if they can't get a little bit of a quicker lap time. And a lot of these guys are just kind of getting stretched out and waiting to get jumped into the heat races here, because some guys are a little bit better at the race setup, and some guys, you're able to kind of hot lap it around and get a quick time. But it's one of those things where you really have to be good at both. You have to be quick, and you have to be able to run in race conditions. Timer clicking down, about 15 seconds here. We'll see if anybody puts up a fast time, but looks like, there it is. Kyle Ellie, the number 7 car. 18.601 beats out Kyle Salza by about 100th of a second. Ryan Blanchard now 3rd, Ryan Borg's 4th, and Ryan Libby. 3 Ryans and 2 Kyles. That's a full house in the top 5, Wes. Getting lined up here for the very first heat race. It looks like there's actually going to be 2 cars in this heat race, so we may very well be, looks like we are going to be taking everybody, as we don't have the full field as we've seen all season long, but Dylan Kopech slated to start first. He is the league admin, so he won't actually be on track. Michael Hendrickson currently slated to start P2.
Sorry about that, Paul. I was on my mute button and didn't know I was on my mute button.
I was wondering where you went, bud.
Yeah, I am here. Yep, sorry about that. So, yeah, man, it looks like we have a stacked field. I'm going to get straight into Heat 1. And I don't believe we're going to have any more than just one heat here. We're just going to have that one heat because it is such a small field. So, Michael Hendrickson is scheduled to start this heat, but I'm not seeing him out in the track. That looks like this might be one car of the Vasseur in the 714.
He's a one-man band! Is that how it goes?
I think so. I really, oh boy, that's great. So I guess he's going to get some practice laps here. I need 12 more practice laps than anybody else. I guess that gives him some sort of an advantage.
Well, no pressure for Alfred Vasseur in the 714 car. It looks like he's going to be the lone driver here in this heat race. And man, everybody's going to be watching. Either if you're watching from the server or from Verdane TV on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook Live, be sure to give us a like and a share and let your friends know that you're watching some live racing action here. And be sure to click on that little star doodad down in the bottom where the chat box is. Not quite sure how that works, but I do know the more stars that we get, the better it is for us. Working on a couple of little tidbits and tricks there with the Facebook streaming. And also check us out over on YouTube. If you got a smart TV or a TV with a Fire Stick or the YouTube app on it, be sure to pull up Verdane TV, as we've got the beautiful 1080p stream. Looks absolutely fantastic on the big screen. Be sure to check that out, especially if you got friends and family over watching the race with you. And also check us out on Twitch. We're trying to kind of revamp the Twitch page just a little bit, and you can check that out at twitch.tv/Verdane Racing TV. Shoot on over there and give us a follow. We're trying to work that out to do a little bit of the racing deal with Verdane TV as well as some gaming. And I know I actually got sucked into a Grand Theft Auto 5 server today and played that for about 5 hours this afternoon. So didn't really get much done around the yard or the house, but got a lot of Grand Theft Auto time in today, so that was pretty cool. And we're seeing Alfred Vasseur just kind of take a quick pace lap around the pace truck all by his lonesome. Good opportunity, like you said, Wes, to kind of practice that car and make some last-minute adjustments here under race conditions.
All right, Paul, so who's your favorite in this one?
I'm going to go with the pace truck.
All right, just listening to some of the the joking in the server. These guys love having fun with each other. Everybody's missing Kyle Cisco that isn't here, so everybody's wondering how long it's going to take for the first caution to come out in this heat race. So that's kind of in the air, I guess. When do you think the first caution is going to come?
You know, that's really tough to say. Usually Alfred's pretty good, pretty clean racer, and well, being that there's nobody else on the track, there's no other call for me to make than to ride on board with him. And here's the cockpit view from inside the 714 car, and you can see he's really getting up on that wheel, and he's not laying back any. He's definitely running it into the corners there, trying a couple different lines, and this is a really good opportunity for him to feel out his race setup. As you usually with the qualifying, you have a little bit more tape on the cars, and it's a little bit different, so you try and loosen it up so you can get the quickest time possible within a matter of 2 or 3 laps, or 1 or 2 laps rather. But when you're in a race, even in a heat race by yourself, you can kind of tweak things out and run the race setup and see where you're at and just adjust the stability a little bit.
Yeah, you might as well use this as a test session, and do what you got to do to make sure everything's shook down in the car. And Alfred is he's definitely pushing it. The drivers are definitely giving him hell, making sure he's not sandbagging it. I'll tell you what, if he ends up spinning out on his own or something like that, that's going to be interesting.
And that's one of those things, Wes. I actually got that from Gary Spanano from Rent a Race Car. That's how you know where your limit is. You go out there and you spin the car around, and then you don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's typically what you try to do. But man, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a fun event. I'm excited to see this. I'm a fan of these drivers that stick around for all 12 weeks, I believe it is. We've seen it time and time again in leagues where leagues just dwindle down, car counts dwindle down, drivers that don't have a chance to win a championship or any purse money, they just stop showing up, and we've seen it happen. And you got to give credit to these guys that know that they're out here racing for the fun, for the pride, trying to get a win. They know that they don't have a chance of winning at anything except this single race. So shout out to all these drivers that showed up to participate today. And these 12 laps are clicking on down as he's down to lap 8. Just trying to fill a little bit of time here. I think I might as well go grab my beverage now.
Yeah, go ahead and grab your beverage, grab a daddy soda, and we got about 5 laps to go here. And I believe this is only going to be the only heat race. We may very well have a second one, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll see what comes of it. But Alfred holding a pretty line. He gets a little bit out of shape there, coming out of turn number 2, just a little bit high. But you can see what he's doing, and this is what the guys actually do at the track. They kind of shoot down low, and they put half the car on that apron because it's nice and flat, and they're really able to use that to essentially turn the car for them. It's such a big change in not elevation. It's a big change. A little bit squirrely there coming out of turn number 2. Holy moly, but he's able to come off there nice and straight, and really trying to utilize that nice flat apron to see if he can get that car turned. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 to go, and Alfred still out front and in the back at the same time, so pretty exciting there. It's really cool to be able to ride on board with one of these drivers for an entire 12-lap heat race. We don't usually get the opportunity to do that because obviously there's usually more people in the heat races, but white flag, white rag in the air, and you can see Alfred is just coming around. He's trying a couple of things. He's been on different lines all throughout the heat race here, just trying to see what works, what's going to transfer on. Oh, a little bit squirrely, loses the back end, does a great job hitting the binders and collecting that car. And your winner, the number 714 of Alfred Vasseur, and there is the celebratory wreck as he crosses the start-finish line here. But we got 5 minutes of warm-up. That's going to give us the opportunity to step away and stand up for your national anthem. And welcome back to the track here, Stafford Motor Speedway. Last race here of the season, championship night for East Coast Winter League. Teddy Hodgdon out front in the point standings by a good margin. He's got 363 points. P2 is going to go to Ryan Libby, 337 points, and Ryan Blanchard, 326 points. So these boys racing for a championship here, championship night, and a couple of, well, a trifecta there of fast drivers up front. If you missed it earlier, I am Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. here. Alongside me is Rowdy Wesley Hogue calling the action here on Vidane TV. If you're watching here on Facebook Live, be sure to hit the like button, hit the share button, and follow us because we've got racing at least 6 nights a week, sometimes 7 nights a week, depending on the week itself. Be sure to shoot over to our YouTube page, give us a quick follow over there, or subscribe and all that good stuff, and then shoot on over to Twitch. Take a look at twitch.tv/Vidane Racing TV. We're trying to amp that up and get some more followers over on Twitch so we can get pretty much get everybody some action all the way across here. But just wrapping up, we got about a minute and a half of warm-up here at Stafford Motor Speedway. We got the news yesterday. Stafford Motor Speedway, the actual Stafford Motor Speedway, opening its doors here, its gates, its grandstands for fans. We're going to be running some open practice next Saturday, which is very exciting. Going to be cool to see a lot of these cats that race in this league and that have raced in this league over the past 12 weeks at the actual track. And after that, we jump right into Friday night action at Stafford Motor Speedway. And Wes, like I said earlier, that means this guy gets a pulled pork sandwich from the concession stand.
I think you're more excited about the sandwich than you are the racing.
I really am, I'm telling you.
Do they not sell that anywhere else near you?
They do. They absolutely do, but it's the racetrack thing.
You know, I can agree on that. You know, there's nothing like getting a burger or a hot dog, some fries, some chili fries from a racetrack. Other places just don't hit the same.
Yep, and they do have good cheeseburgers. And a quick story here, we got about a half a minute left in warm-up. The very first time I drove one of the Rent-A-Race cars, I had to go out and I had to get the NASCAR license, the Wheeling All-American Series, and now it's the Advanced Auto Parts weekly series, which is pretty cool. We'll have to get the lettering down here, but Gary Spinato kind of walked me up to the office, and he walked me through the steps of getting my NASCAR sanctioned license and all that good stuff because I was driving that evening, and well, we walked away, and he said, "Congratulations, you're now officially a NASCAR licensed driver." I was like, "Great. Let's go get a cheeseburger." So the very first meal I had as a NASCAR sanctioned licensed driver was a Stafford Motor Speedway cheeseburger.
We have a local dirt track here where I race my four-banger, and they have these burgers that are just, they taste absolutely amazing, but you're going to be on the toilet for the rest of the night when you get home. Man, do they tear you up, but that sauce is worth it.
Absolutely. There's no party like a race car party, because a race car party don't stop. But we're going to take a look right now, gridding, getting everybody lined up. Looks like we've got 23 drivers that are going to be starting the race. And your pole sitter is going to be the number 7, Kyle Ellie. Outside of him is going to be the 13 of Kyle Souza.
All right, so coming into our feature here, Ryan Blanchard in the number 9. He's going to be starting 3rd, with Ryan Borgs in the 32 starting 4th.
Starting 5th, the number 46 machine, Ryan Libby. P2 in the points, and P1 in the points outside of him, the number 55, Teddy Hodgdon.
Anthony Bello in the 51 will be starting 7th. Outside of him will be Brandon Wilkinson, the spotter, in that number 56, starting 8th.
Behind those guys on the inside, the number 85, Tony Kremborg. Outside of him, the number 69, nice, Riley O'Keefe.
And that will round out your top 10. And then, wow, that got really southern all of a sudden. And then number 16, Nicholas Hovey, Tyler Alkus, Nick Ferlino will be in the top 13. Andrew Muller in that 35. Zachary Sangermano in the 47. We got 2 Amy Catalanos. We know exactly what's going on there, Paul?
No idea. We'll have to talk to Dylan here once we get going.
Bill, then Ken Zeems, Nacio Adams. It's pretty cool seeing him, Paul. We usually see him on the Carter's Racing League that we would call, that ran all the different road courses. Pretty cool seeing him in another league. And then I believe Kenny Zeems in the 19. And Alfred Fazor rounding out your field along with admin Dylan Kopeck. And Dylan typically didn't run these races. I think Dylan's only running it because of it being the finale, but pretty cool to see Dylan running with these guys.
Absolutely. Usually he takes the night off and he kind of watches from the spotter stand to make sure these guys stay out of trouble and does all the admin duties there. But pretty cool to see Kopeck out on the track. Pair of sevens up front. Kyle Salza scored as the number 13, but he's got the number 7 painted on that race car. And like we said, looking like we got 22 SK modified starting this race as they rumble on down to turn number 3, Wes.
All right, this is what these drivers have been waiting for. This is championship night for the East Coast Winter League. Green flag is out. We are green flag racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Kyle Ellie has the lead. Side by side is Souza and Blanchard coming out.
2x2 pretty much all the way throughout the field right now. Nobody looking high, nobody looking low. Just trying to click off a couple of laps. First lap green, and it belongs to Kyle Ellie.
With these league on Sunday nights, typically there's a few quick cautions and then they get into a long green flag run. That has been the trend all season long. We'll see if that trend continues here tonight as the 32 of Borgs is stuck on the outside as the freight train begins on the bottom. Now the points leader, Teddy Hodgdon, the 55, trying to work around Borg. 3 wide into 1 behind.
Lots of action all the way throughout the track here, and these guys doing a great job kind of holding on to it. Oh, a little bit of contact there, 3 wide action. Nobody gets turned around. A little bit of damage, I imagine, but everybody keeps it pointed in the correct direction, so good news there.
Oh, and now they're wrecking further in the back. Big wreck. Dylan Kopeck is involved in it, as well as the 13 at Amy Catalana, one of them. And then Tyler Alkis was involved in that one as well. Tyler Alkis had a pretty good chance of missing that. It almost looked like Tyler just kind of drove into it like, hey, I want to be a part of this wreck. So Paul, looks like the incident there happened between the Ferlino ride, that number 44, Andrew Muller in the 35, and the Dylan Kopeck machine of the 6.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the AWS Roofing instant replay here, focus in the number 44 of Ferlino, and you can see he is the blue and yellow machine there. 47 gets up into the 35, and the 44 gets into the Kopeck machine as he was trying to kind of slow down just a little bit, see if he could avoid that wreck. And man, that's that nice green grass is actually what the grass looks at Stafford Motor Speedway right now, because there hasn't been any drivers that have been on it. So pretty tough break for these guys, but it is still early on. You see Dylan Kopeck down on pit road trying to get that car worked on, get some of the sheet metal banged out. Good looking ride there in the number M6, so pretty cool to see Kopeck on track. But up front, your leader is still Kyle Ellie.
Just a quick note that there are no fast repairs, so these guys have what they have. You can't go down pit road and get a new car, so to say. If you get some damage, you're stuck with that damage, and the damage that you can't fix coming down pit lane. So might be a tough road to hoe for those 3 drivers the rest of the way here in this 75 lapper.
Absolutely, and everybody lights are still on in the pace car, so giving these guys the opportunity to kind of collect their thoughts and see exactly where they're at on the track, see who's around them, and see what it is they need to do to get back up front. As you can see right now, the top 3, Kyle Ellie, Kyle Salza, and Ryan Blanchard in the number 9 car.
All right, so checking on your points leader, Teddy Hodgdon. He's sitting in that 5th position with second. Who was second in points there? Was it Ellie or Libby that's there?
Libby is second in points.
Well, Libby is second, and Libby's 4th. And what was that gap?
A couple of points.
So it's still anybody's ball game when it comes to those 2 here in this race. It might come down to who finishes in front of who, even if it comes down to a position or 2.
Well, it does also depend on the actual points system, and unfortunately we don't have that graphic. But on your screen right now, you're seeing Teddy Hodgdon leading 363 points, Ryan Libby in the 337 points, and Ryan Blanchard 326 points. So right after the race, we are certain that Dylan Kopeck is going to put together those point standings for us, and we'll be able to crown us champion here live, and got to give these guys some bragging rights, as it were, to let these guys know who the big dog is moving into the actual series, the racing season next week.
right, so pace lights are out on the pace truck here. We're going to be going green on lap 10. It will be lap 10 when we take the green flag. Your leaders, Kyle Ellie, Kyle Souza. Battle of the Kyles up front as the pace truck is down. Green flag is out. And Kyle Ellie with the hole shot. Ryan Blanchard with a great restart behind him. That opens up the door. Hodgdon, Kyle Souza stuck on the outside now that Brandon Wilkinson's looking low coming out of 2.
Great restart up front. You can see Teddy Hodgdon moves into that number 3rd spot, and it's about single file for the first half dozen. And then it's Calamity behind them. Everybody 2 by 2 back there. You can see Ryan Borges is in the middle of a 2-wide battle down low in the 46, trying to clear him, and he does. Gets around the 46 machine. So that puts 5-6 cars single file as the 46 is hung out to dry right now.
Try to get into a nice green flag run if we can here, as these drivers are basically single file now. Now I think this is the time where you just line them on up and you log some laps. You take them when they come to you, but you don't really push the issue.
You're exactly right, Wes. You really don't want to tear your stuff up here early on in the race. You got 75 laps to get it done. And a lot of these guys, they aren't racing for the championship. They're going to be racing for the win. So you may very well see some crazy moves towards the end of the race here. Back up front, Kyle Ellie in the number 7 machine leading just about a sheet of paper over the number 9 there of Ryan Blanchard. And Teddy Hodgdon, you can see the number 9, Ryan Blanchard, all over the back bumper of the number 7, trying to give him just a little... Oh, Teddy Hodgdon in the wall just a little bit, but slows him down. He keeps it pointed in the right direction, but that's definitely going to open the door for Kyle Souza there in the 4th position, Wes.
Great battle going on in front of them as well for the lead. This is the first... any kind of pressure, actually, Kyle Ellie has seen since the race started, as Ryan Blanchard is putting the pressure on the outside. Can Blanchard get that outside rolling? We haven't got to see any kind of momentum being able to be built up there. The line that has been preferred has been the inside. Blanchard's still trying to work it, but here comes Hodges looking low out of 2.
Hodgdon's looking low out of 2 to no avail. He tucks back in line, single file for the top 4 cars. As you can see, Kyle Souza tries to peek down low in the 55 of Teddy Hodgdon, but thinks better of it. These guys still have a little bit of time. Well, they still have plenty of time. At this point, they're just kind of trying out different lines to see what's going to work later on in the show.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go here, Paul. We know that. And I believe these are these drivers allowed to take tires out?
No tires.
All right, so no tires here being allowed to be taken. So what you got is what you got when it comes to your rubber. So you got to take care of them here in the early run. You want to make sure you have something when it comes down to a few to go. 75 lap race here at Stafford isn't anything short, as Andrew Moeller in a 35 has spun out all by himself, and you see the leaders going by him as he's up high, and now the leaders are gone. The 35 gets it rocking and rolling. That was a close call for our leaders, but no harm, no foul. The green flag stays out.
Absolutely, everybody goes up and hits that entrance gate, blows the motor, and does a quick reset, so he's down on pit road. No caution, we stay green flag.
Tough break there for that driver. Moeller not having the race that he wanted to finish off this season here at the East Coast Winter League, but back up front, Teddy Hodges, though, your points leader, is doing everything he needs to do to win this championship. I think as long as he gets a top 5 at this point, I think he's not going to have anything to worry about.
Absolutely, and everybody's still single file up front. We're just going to kind of go through the field here quickly. Kyle Ellie up front, doing a great job holding that position. Led every single lap, all 21 of them so far. Second place is going to go to Ryan Blanchard. Right in the back bumper, just kind of running in the tire tracks, the number 7 car. You see he shoots a little bit high to try and get a little bit of momentum there. And just trying to see what's going to work for later on. Teddy Hodgdon, your points leader, running P3 right now, followed by Kyle Souza and Ryan Borges. We talked about him in practice, about being the new Smyrna and the Stafford Speedway driver. He's going to be rounding out the top 5.
And the thing we've seen from Borges before is tire conservation. Borges knows how to take care of his tires. You might not see him up leading in the first quarter of this race, but as the laps click off, expect to see that 32 work his way up into the top 3 and be a contender.
Absolutely. Definitely a long-run driver at pretty much any track we can put him on. Every time we see him, He's really good at saving his stuff, keeping his nose out of trouble, and trying to get the best finish that he absolutely positively can. As these SK Modifieds are thundering through this track. We're already a third of the way down, Wes. 25 down, 50 laps to go.
And I could tell just by the driver chat, listening to the driver's channel here, is things are a little bit more relaxed. This has a last day of school type feeling to it. I feel like if this was earlier in the season, we may have seen a caution come out for Northern when he wrecked, but I think it's that last day of school feeling. Everybody's out here having fun, taking a deep breath, no drama. Let's get 75 laps in and wrap this thing up and put a bow on it and crown our champion.
Absolutely, Wes, and especially with the announcement coming yesterday that Stafford Speedway is finally going to be opening up those pig gates next weekend. These guys are stoked. I know I'm stoked. I've been going to Stafford Speedway for 5 or 6 years now with the Rental Race Car Cats, and I'm stoked. I'm really excited. I'm actually still waiting on the vinyl to come in. I ordered a couple more rolls of vinyl because, yes, we have the Angry Tree Guy. That's one of my brands, Angry Tree Guy number 22 Rental Race Car Chevy Dominator SS, which is pretty cool. But lo and behold, we've actually got the Vidine TV number 26 car through in the Rental Race Car fleet. So very, very thankful for Paul Verricchio Jr. and Gary Spinato for giving us the opportunity to kind of sponsor those cars, and it's going to be cool to see our Vidane Racing Super Speedway champion Jarrett Bolliard pilot that number 26 Vidane TV car, and I'm doing everything I can to try and line it up to where Jarrett's actually going to have to race me in the number 22 Angry Tree Guy car when he comes up to run that car. So we will definitely keep you posted on Facebook and social media with all that. But battle up front starting to heat up, Wes. Kyle Ellie's still leading. Ryan Blanchard getting a little bit hungry. He's all over the back bumper of that number 7 car.
Blanchard now, he's starting to put that pressure on one more time. We saw him do it about 10 laps ago when he backed it off, maybe let the tires cool back down. Now he's going to take another shot at Ellie there in that 7 as they work out of 1 and 2, down the backstretch here into 3, nose to tail.
Nose to tail all the way through. We're going to take a quick peek. Teddy Hodgdon still running third. Kyle Salza behind him, and Ryan Borgs. No change in the top 5. All still single file, but you can tell these guys are trying to run just a little bit different line, trying to figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work, what is where the weak point is in the driver in front of them. As you can see, the 7 car on your screen, Kyle Salza closes right into the back bumper, gives him just a little bit of a kiss in the back bumper, and backs right off as he heads on down into turn number 1. Just letting him know that he's there and that he's trying to get around him. Peaks on down low. Teddy Hodgdon goes up high. It looks like we're going to have a battle for third, Wes.
The battle is heating up as we saw there quickly in the corner of our eye, a driver heading down pit road. That was Zachary Sangermano. He may be done for the day or have some issue with his machine. That battle for third has calmed down. Teddy Hodgins good to go. Now the battle for fourth is going to start to heat up as Kyle Souza has Ryan Borgs all over his bumper, as Brandon Wilkinson has given up the position there as well. So again, watch out for Borgs. Last time we spoke about him, he was 5th. Now he currently is 5th, but he's knocking on the door 4th. He wants it, and he wants it bad.
Absolutely, and these guys doing a great job keeping the cars out of each other, keeping the cars out of the wall, and good, clean racing all the way through here. Behind these guys, take a look at Brandon Wilkinson, kind of just running the race, running his own race. Doesn't have any pressure up front. A little bit of pressure from the back. You got Ryan Libby, the P2 guy in the points, and that number 46 car. He's kind of running in his tire tracks, but no real big pressure there. And behind them, 16 of Nicholas Hovey, that plain white unsponsored Ryan. And looks like we had a lap car there, the blue car out of shape just a little bit.
All right, and Hodgins is under fire now from Souza. Souza almost slid up into him in the entry of 1. Was able to gather that machine and avoid from making contact with the 55 of Teddy Hodgins, and now it's a 3-car battle for that third position. As here's Borgs looking low for 4th, not quite able to get.
Definitely taking a peek, seeing if the door's going to open up, but Teddy Hodgson very rarely makes a mistake, both in real life and in iRacing. He does a great job holding on to that car, and you can see the 13 of Kyle Salza, the 7 on your screen there, and the 32 of Ryan Borgs doing their best to try and follow in the tire tracks, and they're keeping right up. They're bumper to bumper to bumper. You could throw a blanket over them if you really wanted to for whatever reason, but man, these guys are putting on definitely putting on a clinic, clicking off these laps. Lap number 40 in the books of 75 here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
already over halfway in the books here at Stafford. Your leader from flag to flag has been Kyle Ellie, and then Ryan Blanchard second. That's been the show. Even though Kyle's led every single lap so far, Ryan's been in his tire tracks. This might be one of the greater shows of patience that we've seen in a while, Paul.
Absolutely, and you can see the third place is starting to get a little bit on the hot side again, as Kyle Salzman peeking on down low, gets a little bit of a push there from Borgs to try and get around Hodgdon, but to no avail, and you can see using every last bit of that flat apron to try and get that car turned. He wants to try and get turned essentially earlier than Hodgdon's doing. See, there's a little bit of dirt there. We'll have to try and figure out what if somebody's off track right there. But man, oh man, Teddy Hodgdon, oh, he really pinches him that time around, and there's a lap car there, a couple of laps cars. Looks like the 47 and the yellow car there. But man, oh man, that was tight racing. Hodgdon still able to hold on to third place, but for how long, Les?
Lap traffic doing a really good job there getting out of the way. When you have two lap cars that were stacked up, that really could have gotten ugly, but great job by the lap cars there. It's a 13 to Souza. He makes contacts with Hodgins. Hodgins able to save it. That knocks him up the track. A little bit of a bump and run, or maybe a rub and run there. A little bit more than just a bump, but that sent Hodgins up the track. Drops Hodgins from third all the way back to fifth.
Ryan Borg's able to follow through to get
Caution's out.
Second position, fourth position. Check that. Take a look, see what the caution lap is, or caution flag rather, is out for.
It looks, Paul, it looks like it possibly started with the 5 who got a bump from Tyler Alkis, who seems just to be sending it here tonight, so to say. And that also will collect the 19 of Kenny Zeems, is caught up in the mayhem as well.
We'll back up the AWS Roofing instant replay here and give it to you from the blimp view in real time. We're going to focus in on that number 5 car of Michael Hendrickson, who was 3 laps down at the time. And you can see the 83, yeah, just kind of sent it. And the 19 involved, looks like the 23 does a great job slowing down, getting on the binders and getting on down low. But definitely a tough break for a couple of these guys. You see the 19, he was down in John Deere country over there in the grass after making a little bit of contact there with that spinning 5 car. So tough break for those guys. Doesn't look like there was any massive hits, but they were back in the back of the pack anyway. So we'll see what they can muster up here, Wes.
Just had to mention mustard.
I mean, I do kind of like mustard.
Had to bring up food.
I just had steak and potatoes. I'm good for the night. Good for the night.
I think I might have to get into the dessert now that you mentioned mustard.
What kind of dessert are you eating that's got mustard in it?
No cheese. All right, so we're going to get rocking and rolling here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Slow clap.
Kyle Ellie. Lights should go off, and next time around, I believe it's going to be interesting to see if Blanchard's still going to show that same patience he's been showing throughout the race. We're going to be restarting with I'm looking at the lap count here, possibly right around 25 to go, depending 25, 26 to go. So see if he's still going to show that patience, or if he's going to try to work that outside and get himself to the front.
Absolutely, and coming across the stripe here, we're going to see right now whether or not the lights go off on that iRacing pace truck, and they are still on. So we got one more pace lap, and you can see everybody kind of jumping on down to the apron. I don't believe fuel is going to be an issue here, but we'll see if we can actually pull in League Administrator Dylan Kopak. Dylan, you got a copy, bud?
Dylan, you got a copy?
Now, Dylan may very well be working on the administration duties, or he's sitting on pit road having himself a little snacky poo or something along those lines. But we'll definitely catch up with him later on in the race. We may have very well caught him this time. Dylan, you got a copy?
All right, you got to remember he is behind the
Bueller. There we go. I think we got him, Wes. Dylan, we're getting ready to go back green. Man, it was cool to see you start the race, but unfortunately caught yourself in a little bit of trouble early on, and 12 laps down sitting on pit road. But these guys are putting on a heck of a show. What do you think so far?
I think Dylan might be a little busy still behind that wheel. We're going to try to catch a word with him possibly later on as we get green flag racing here again. Kyle Ellie able to get that hole shot again, and that has opened up the door. Kyle Blanchard did not get the start he wanted. A little bit of contact there with the 13 of Kyle Souza. As they head down into 3. And there goes Hodgdon. There's the receipt to Souza. Hodgdon said, oh, and he pushes him up the track anymore. Oh, Blanchard hard to the wall. Blanchard gets the worst end of it all, and there goes the field. Full calamity coming out of turn 4. Oh, man, Souza gets his receipt from Teddy Hodgdon for a few laps to go on that rub and run. But the worst end of it becoming on Ryan Blanchard, the innocent victim there, just running second. And, oh, Ryan Blanchard, tough break.
Absolutely pulling up the AWS Roofing instant replay right now as we speak. And again, we're going to look at it from the blimp view. Take a look at the 55 there, and that's the Teddy Hodgdon machine. You see Blanchard is up high, Sousa's down low, right in front of him, gives him just a little bit of a shot, shoots on down low, puts them 3 wide, and kind of shoots him up, and oh man, shoots Sousa up into Blanchard, and really tears up that 9 car and the rest of the second half of the field. Here, we'll back it up one more time, take a quick peek, and we're going to look at the 9 car this time around on the outside line, and just shoots up. There's no room there, and he tags at least 3 or 4 cars here. The 23 is involved, that car's involved. Lots of tore up race cars, lots of cars going through the grass there to try and avoid the wreck, and some guys getting down on the grass, not able to avoid the wreck. But man, tough break for those guys. And Kyle Ellie's still out front, but new second place driver is going to be Teddy Hodgdon.
Listening to the driver chatter here, and definitely some heated exchanges right now, trying to see if there's going to be a driver that's going to go to the back. And a few drivers saying, hey, Teddy should go to the back. Kyle Souza saying, hey, you ran me over. Ryan Blanchard not happy. There's quite a few drivers that are hot underneath the collar, and we still got 25 laps to turn. Looks like 24 of them at least possibly under green flag.
Oh, absolutely, Wes. This race is not over. You got definitely 2/3 of the race in the books, but man, oh man, if you thought the action was done, you are sorely mistaken, because action and business is getting ready to pick up. We're going to have about 20, we're going to have probably about 17, 18 laps of green flag racing here as we come through and get the green flag. Lights are off on, nope, lights are still on in the pace truck. So going to be taking these guys around one more time before they line them up 2 by 2 all the way through and get some green flag racing here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Sitting in the driver chat real quick here. Going to listen, see what's going to happen. All right, so Teddy Hodgdon has been given the end of line penalty. That means Teddy Hodgdon's, your points leader, having to go to the back of the pack, being the cause of that incident. Late race drama, the finale here at the East Coast Winter League. Your points leader going to the back.
And it's going to be one of those things, Wes. It doesn't really affect the championship battle too much, because I'm looking at the timing and scoring right now. Teddy Hodgdon's going to be the last car on the lead lap. The first car 1 lap down, Ryan Libby. He's your P2 point standings driver. So doesn't really affect Teddy too much, but absolutely going to be hot, and it's going to be a very, very entertaining thing watching Teddy Hodgdon at 55 make his way through the pack, as I believe we are under green.
Oh, and Hodgdon just wrecks Ryan Libby. Hodgdon just wrecked Ryan Libby in the back. The 46 of Libby is wrecked in the grass. No caution since only 1 driver was involved. Oh, man, if Ryan Libby didn't have the cards stacked against him and half the field wanting to see blood, I don't know what change. I don't think that's going to help his cause here.
Most definitely. Oh, the 16 gets into the back of the 51. The 51's around Howard into the wall. That's Anthony Bello pointing in the wrong direction. The number 5 involved as well. Caution is out. Looks like we had a couple of drivers involved in that. And we're going to try and catch that first instance as we pull up the AWS Roofing instant replay as well, Wes.
Man, that was crazy. Sounds like it may have been an issue with connection, which it was. It looks like the 51 had some connection issues, was blinking. Anthony Bello came back on the track from blinking, and Nicholas Hovey was just kind of inside his car when he came back, and around he went.
Yeah, just pulling it up, and it's tough to find these instant replays here with the drivers that have connection issues, and just trying to pull it up here on our end, see if we can figure out. Well, we know exactly what happened. We saw it live. Let's see,
See if you can catch a replay there of Teddy Hodgdon's in the beginning of that restart, sending Ryan Libby P1 and P2 getting an incident there.
Yeah, struggling trying to find the issue between the 16 and the 51. So we'll see if we can pull up the Teddy Hodgdon restart there, and that's going to be we're a 55 car here, and we'll back that up. We'll give it to you in real time here as we're trying to sift through the tapes here. And you can see this is where the last caution where Teddy got sent to the back of the pack, and it's going to be 1 to green here, and it was right on the restart, I believe, that Teddy got into the back of Libby. So we'll fast forward this just a little bit, and you can see there it is right there. Just there he was, and didn't slow down, didn't turn into him, didn't turn away from him, just kind of got into the back bumper of him. So definitely a tough break there. And we'll see if we can jump back over to the Anthony Bello machine here, and we'll watch this through. You can see the 51 and the 16 were the two drivers involved in that caution, side by side as they head on down into turn number 1. 51 has it down low. You see the 51 blinks on out, and the 16, as he reappears, gets into his quarter panel, and that's what sent him on around. You see the 9 car Blanchard, unfortunately, had nowhere to go there, and I believe that's a 23 car right in front of him. Does a great job getting on the binders, slowing that car up to avoid calamity. So tough break for the 51 and all the drivers involved back here. Looks like just a little bit of connection issues that caused that.
We mentioned it before, and I'll mention it again. Keep your eye on the 32 of Ryan Borgs. Ryan Borgs has methodically moved himself up time after time at a time again, and now it looks like he's, as they're lining up, I believe he's going to be just trying to see how they're going to line things up here. It's getting confusing. He's going to be starting in the top 4. Looks like they're having a little bit of fun here. Okay, no, he's going to be lining up second. Ryan Borgs will be lining up second. The leader of Ellie chose the high line, so the number 7 will be the leader. He will be the car to fire it off as the pace truck heads down pit road. He fires. We are back green flag. This time around, lap 65.
10 laps to go here at Stafford Motor Speedway Championship night here for the East Coast Winter League, the SK Modifieds, and Ryan Borgs running second. Doing a great job holding off Brandon Wilkinson as he dips on down low, but they're all trying to run down Kyle Ellie, who's led this from flag to flag so far.
Single file further on back, including our points leader, who looks like he's just almost just like he's riding at this point. He's caused enough drama. He's got the points in the bag. Why make matters worse? But up front, it looks like Ellie's starting to. He's got a little bit of a better line than Borgs as we come out to 9 to go.
Doing a great job, trying to see what's going to work, see if he can find just a little bit of speed, a little bit of momentum to try and get around that number 7 car of Kyle Ellie. And as he made mention, Wes, Teddy Hodgdon, the points leader, moved his way all the way up to P7 so far, and he's got P6 in his sights, trying to reel in the number 69 of Riley O'Keefe. Ryan Libby still struggling, though. He is back on the lead lap. He was able to get the wave around on that last caution, but has not made up any time yet.
3 wide going into turn 3. The 56 of Wilkinson working it out with the 16 of Hovey and Kyle Souza. All 3 of those drivers were 3 wide for a moment there. And a little bit of contact between the 56 and the 16. Got a 1 around in the back. The 38 of Adams, he gets his machine back up and going.
A little bit squirrely there for the number 7 car. He's able to collect. 16 up in the wall.
There is the boop from Brandon Wilkinson, sending Nicholas Hovey to the back. He said, I will take that, sir. So that's where your drama's at, but coming to 5 to go. Next time by, Flagman's going to give them the wave. Kyle Ellie, but all in his mirror now, the 32 aboard.
Business is picking up. 5 laps to go here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Great action up front. Ryan Borgs, number 32, trying to run down Kyle Ellie in that 7, who's led the entire race so far. Battle right now is going to be for 3rd. Teddy Hodgdon's moved up to 4th as he's side by side with the number 56 of Wilkinson. A little bit of contact there. Hodgdon's going to get up and just give him just a little bit of a kiss on that bumper. Say, hey, I don't really appreciate that. Now I'm going to try and take this spot from you, Wes.
I know Brandon Wilkinson wasn't a big fan of Teddy Hodgdon's, what happened a couple cautions ago, so that's going to be one to watch. Look at Teddy.
Teddy, way down low. Oh, contact!
Oh, and now up, there comes Borgs. Let's see if we see the caution get thrown. No caution yet. There it is. There's the yellow, as there's cars everywhere. Catalana goes around. Nick Ferolino goes around. Teddy Hodgdon's, of course, as well. And it looks like possibly a couple other cars. So more drama. That is including the 55 of Teddy Hodgdon's.
Yeah.
Paul, this looks like the beginning of the season for Teddy.
Great racing all the way around the racetrack here. And Teddy Hodgdon just letting everybody know, hey, the champ's here. And some pretty hard racing there from the 55. You can see he shoots all the way down low past that yellow line, comes back up, gets into the side of Wilkinson. Wilkinson's able to hold on to it. Not so much for the 23, the 69, the 55. A lot of guys get turned around here, and you can see a couple of drivers able to really get the 44 got spun around there as well. So a little bit of damage, it looks like, in the front of the 55 machine as Teddy Hodgdon. Looks like he's going to be starting at the back of the pack again, but just taking a looking through the field here. Ryan Libby's still 11th, so it's only 2 positions in front of Teddy Hodgdon. It looks like we still have a championship winner here, Teddy Hodgdon, and depending on if he's able to make these last couple of laps. Definitely looks like he's having some steering problems, though, so we'll see if that's going to affect the end of the race.
All right, so we only have 3 attempts to a green white checkered. I say only because we might need more. But man, we got it again. The same thing with this league as we've seen for 11 previous weeks. They get a couple cautions in, and then a long green flag run, and then a couple cautions to close it out. So that same trend you're seeing here tonight for the finale. And Teddy Hodgdon's, I think he's looking to be the series champion if it ends right now. He's been involved in a lot of the drama tonight.
Absolutely. If it were to end right now, you would absolutely have the championship, because you can see Teddy Hodgdon currently running P10. P2 in the championship, Ryan Libby, he's running 2 positions behind him. So it's not over yet, but definitely a big vote of confidence for the number 55, Teddy Hodgdon, going out of this, leaving the track here as the East Coast Winter League champion.
I believe next time around we'll be taking the 1 to go. Ellie has chosen the top lane again. You saw it on that last restart. That's where the advantage was. So, of course, he's going to choose that. I think the time for Ryan Borgs may have ran out unless he can time this restart perfectly. If Ellie gets the same start he got last time, it's all over.
Absolutely, Wes. These guys are really doing a great job. And by these guys, I mean that guy. Kyle Ellie doing a fantastic job on the restarts, really able to put some distance on him and the second place driver every single restart. And I don't know, it's going to be a race down to turn number 1. You can see Ryan Borgs is down there. He's just trying to see what the grip level is down there on the flat apron here at Stafford Motor Speedway. You've got to figure that's where he's going to be putting his race car. Going to be putting that SK Modified to see if he can't get around Kyle Ellie in one last-ditch effort as we've got a green-white checkered finish. Pace truck dips on down, takes that hard left turn, 2x2 all the way through, hammer down, and they're side-by-side as they cross the stripe. Kyle Ellie, Ryan Borgs, 1-2, and don't look now, P3, Brandon Wilkinson, that 56 wants to come out and play.
Ryan Borgs with a much better restart this time.
Oh, Wilkinson's out of shape. Wilkinson on the number 69 machine down in John Deere country. Caution is out.
As I was saying there, Borg's got a great restart. He would love to see this end on 1 green-white checkered, but not so much as the Wilkinson machine gets sent to the back. He got out of shape. I believe you're probably going to get us the replay there as the 56 now is on pit road. Wilkinson looks like he went into 1 and 2 and just got a little bit of help from the 13, got sideways, tried to gather it, could not. And then that gathered up the 69 of Riley O'Keefe and Amy Catalano again in the 23.
Just looking at the AWS Roofing instant replay from the blimp, and you can see the couple of cars in the back get involved as well. They get sent on down through the grass, and 56 backs up in front of the points leader, Teddy Hodgdon, as he comes across the track, kind of backs across there. So might have been something that was broken on that race car, but yeah, it's going to be race or restart, green-white checkered. Easy enough for me to say. Green-white checkered attempt number 2. As we get everybody lined back up there, you see the number 56 of Brandon Wilkinson on pit road, but back up front, still Kyle Ellie, who's led every single lap so far, and Ryan Borgs, who's doing everything possible, everything he can try and do to get around that leader of the number 7 car, Kyle Ellie.
All right, Kyle, all right, Paul. Who is your money on, Kyle Ellie or Ryan Borgs, or maybe someone further back like a Kyle Souza?
You know, it's really hard to, as I choke on my own spit here, really hard to tell because Kyle Ellie's doing a fantastic job on these restarts, but we did just see Ryan Borgs was able to keep up with him that time, head on down into turn number 1 side by side. So I'm going to say if Ryan Borgs has finally figured out these restarts and he's going to be restarting on the inside line, more than likely, as Kyle has been choosing the outside on the restarts, I'm going to go with the number 32 car, Ryan Borgs.
It's going to take a perfect restart, not a damn near perfect, but a perfect restart to do anything with a Kyle Ellie machine. You got to keep his mirror filled, and you got to keep the pressure on him because you're only going to have 2 laps to do it. You have a green-white checkered coming up. You don't have much time. And knowing Ryan Borgs, he's a hell of a race car driver. He races karts in real life. He's very clean. I don't expect to see Borgs give him the bumper, but I do expect him to do everything else that it takes to get this win in.
Absolutely, and we're just taking a look right now. Kyle Ellie, the leader, Ryan Borg, second. We've been talking about them for the entire caution. Kyle Souza in the 13. He's actually the 7 on your screen, as you see, on the inside of row number 2. Amy Catalano is scored P4, and Anthony Bello, we saw him involved in a caution earlier on in the number 51. That's going to round out the top 5, but the attention all the way up front with Kyle Ellie and Ryan Borg is going to be restarting side by side in row number 1.
All right, so you're about to see that pace car dip down pit road as he does. Borg's now getting stuck on the outside as Ellie chose the inside. We are back green, and that might have been the winning move. That opened up the door for Kyle Souza. Souza underneath Borg's. They're side by side through 2. Ellie sets sail.
Ellie with another fantastic restart, exactly what he needed to do to get closer to victory, as you can see right now.
Wreck in the back, caution's out. We are going to get our 3rd green-white checkered. Wreck in the back, caution is out. Oh man, couple different incidences. There was one that involved, looked like the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson. He wrecked on his own coming out of 2. I don't believe that's what brought it out. I believe the 16 of Hovey, he sent the 69 of O'Keefe, I believe is in that 69, to send him for a ride going into 3. 2 cars wreck, and no option but to throw the caution.
Yeah, big time hit in turn number 1 for those drivers, the 69 and the 16. We'll give it to you from the blimp as well. And you can see the 16 just gets into the back of him, nowhere to go because he tries to get down, and the number 46 was there. So unfortunate event here for the 16 to 69. They're probably going to end up finishing at the tail end of the lead lap, probably 12th and 13. Going to be restarting here with 13 cars on the lead lap.
All right, so a little bit of a strategy change that restart. We saw Kyle Ellie typically start on the outside, but this time he switched it up to the inside, and that worked out for him. I think starting on the inside, that allowed himself to not only pull away, but it got 2nd and 3rd side by side. So expect to see Ellie to do that same move, doing a little bit of his homework there. And honestly, I think it's going to be really hard to beat Kyle Ellie here unless he makes a mistake himself. Only he can beat him at this point.
You're exactly right, Wes, and he's doing a great job on those restarts, and we saw just that most recent restart right there, able to put himself 4, 5, 6 car lengths in front of Borgs as he heads on down into turn number 1, and with only 2 green laps to go and a green-white checkered, man, that's hard to make up, especially when you've got the third place machine of Kyle Sousa that's hungry. He wants to get up to the second position, so it's gonna end up really depending on this restart for the 7 and the 32.
All right. So again, thank you for watching here at Vidane TV. If you've never been here at Vidane TV before, you make sure you hit that like button. You make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, check us out. YouTube actually gives you a little bit of a clearer picture. You can find us at Vidane TV over there, as well as on Twitch. You can find us at Vidane Racing TV. You can check us out over there as well. Be sure to hit that follow, subscribe button, whatever it may be. We're here for all of your sim racing entertainment. And hey, if you're a league that needs your league called, we'll do that for you as well. Message us on Facebook, and we'll get you some quotes.
Absolutely, and the lights are off. The iRacing pace truck, line them up 2 by 2 by 2 all the way throughout the field. Last attempt here, Wes, at a green, white, checkered.
Right, so you're about to see that pace truck take that turn as he does. Let's see, Ellie fires early like we expected. He got the opening that we expected, and he leads second and third side by side like we expected. Ken Borg sending it in clear. He cannot. He keeps the door open for Sousa. He's able to clear Sousa out of...
Sousa dips in a line in that P3 position. We're going to take a look at the inside of that 32 car. And that's the distance, well, with white flag.
One on his roof at the line. One on flipping across the line. Big junk on the front stretch. And Adams is involved. One other car got involved, but he's off the track. He's going to make sure these leaders get the finish that they need. Kyle Ellie coming off of turn 4. Can Borgs get to him? No, he can't. Your winner, Kyle Ellie.
The ceremonial wreck right after the start-finish line. Kyle Ellie's going to win it. And as we expected, Ryan Borgs finishes second. Amy Catalano, 2, finishes third. Zachary Sangamano finishes fourth. Kyle Sousa drops back to fifth. Anthony Bello saw him caught up in a wreck earlier on. He's going to finish sixth. Second place point standing, Ryan Libby. He's going to finish seventh. Tommy Kremborg is going to finish eighth. Riley O'Keefe and Nick Frolino going to round out the top 10.
Man, what a finale to a great season here at the East Coast Winter League. We saw a little bit of everything for 12 weeks. We see tonight our points leader having quite a bit of drama, and then Kyle Ellie rounding out this season with a win. He's been there all season long as well. He's been running in the top 3 all season. Great season for him. He's capping off a successful season for himself with a W.
Absolutely, and we're just taking a look right now at the running order. We had second place finisher, or second place points. That was going to be Ryan Libby. He finishes 7th, and Teddy Hodgdon, who came into the night as the points leader, finishes 11th. So depending on the point standings, we're waiting for Dylan Kopech to give us the thumbs up on whether or not we've got a champion crowned here, and that'll give us... It'll just be a few moments here. So we're actually going to take just a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll get your top 3 and an interview with the East Coast Winter League champion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Living with anxiety or depression can make everyday situations and interactions seem impossible, and getting the right help can be expensive and inconvenient. We're changing that with Tranquility. Our program follows the highly effective gold standard, cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people change negative thoughts and unhelpful behaviors by teaching them skills to practice in real life. Using Tranquility is convenient. You can move at your own pace from your phone or computer, and you don't have to do it alone. Your one-on-one coach is there to help keep you motivated and supported all the way through. If you're ready to unlock the tools you need to approach the day with confidence, visit tranquility.app to sign up for a free trial.
51's Video Network, where the battles are legendary. Get the full picture on short track racing. We will take you behind the scenes.
It's just a meathead.
Your track, your driver, your sport, your passion. Dirt, late models, modifieds, and more. Race highlights, recaps, interviews, historic races, and thousands of on-demand videos. The Speed 51 Network, short track racers' home for the greatest video coverage.
Welcome back to Stafford Motor Speedway here on Verdane TV. We just saw a fantastic race here for the East Coast Winter League Championship night here. And man, Wes, what a great race. And just taking a look here, we saw that Ryan Borgs finished second, Kyle Elliott, and that last, we saw 3 green-white checkered attempts, and we were able to see Kyle Elliott was able to come home with the win. But following Kyle Elliott, Ryan Borgs came home second place, and he's a driver, as we alluded to earlier on, runs these Stafford Speedway races as well as the New Smyrna races that we put on here on Verdane TV. Ryan, you got a copy, brother?
I got you.
Man, what a race. We saw you ran second for almost essentially the entire second half of that race, trying to get any kind of advantage that you could over that first place car, the number 7 of Kyle Elliott. Walk us through your race, bud.
Yeah, I felt like I had a pretty good car the whole race. It just track position's definitely huge with these, especially with everyone so close in setups and a lot of on throttle time and not a lot to. It's definitely hard to gain on people. I guess I'll just leave it at that. But I fell back at the start, and luckily I was able to avoid a couple incidences and get my way up to I think 3rd or 4th midway through or so. And then by the time I was up to 2nd, it just felt like there wasn't enough green flag laps for me to run down Kyle. I think at one point there, with maybe 5 or so laps to go before we got the green-white checkers, I thought I was going to have a chance of getting him, but I think the caution came out, and he definitely had me on those restarts. He's switching up lanes, which I didn't even know. I wasn't sure that if we could do that or not, but that was definitely smart of him for thinking of doing that, because I haven't seen anyone do that in these races yet. And then he was definitely changing up his restart points a lot, which I'm still kind of going to school on that, and iRacing 7 years in. Definitely could have used a triple screen setup and a spotter or something like that to tell me exactly. To see exactly where he's going and tell me exactly where he's going, but he definitely had me on those restarts, and he was basically out front the whole race, so kudos to him for running a great race. But it was fun, good to finish 2nd, but definitely wanted to get that win.
Absolutely, and man, you guys really put on a show here at Stafford, and you put on a really good, clean race. There was a couple of times we thought you might have given the old chrome horn of the number 7, but definitely bided your time and kept your nose nice and clean and pretty cool. We saw with that second to last green-white checkered attempt there, you almost had him. You were able to kind of keep door to door into turn number 1, but then with that last green-white checkered, as you made mention, he's just one of the best restarters we've seen here so far. So tough break, didn't come home with the victory, but a solid 2nd place finish here. And we do want to give you an opportunity here, let you know, or to let you thank whomever's watching, sponsors, friends, family, anybody that may be watching. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, I just thank Dylan Kopech for putting on the East Coast Winter League. It was a lot of fun. I joined kind of late. I wish I joined earlier and could have battled for the championship. I just honestly didn't know about the league until midway through the year, but it was definitely a lot of fun racing on these Sunday nights, especially trying to fine-tune our open setups like that. Definitely a lot different of a challenge than a fixed setup where you're just constantly going out trying to find that extra 100th. You're really working on the car. That was fun. Thank you to Dylan for putting that on. Thank you everyone for competing, and Verdane for broadcasting it. Just also got to thank RPM Motorsports and Northern Senior Champ Kart Series, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's fun.
Good deal. And that was your 2nd place finisher, the number 32 of Ryan Borgs. Fantastic race. And Wes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the champ is here, and you've caught up with the East Coast Winter League champion, Teddy Hodgdon.
Teddy, Wes Hogue here in the booth, buddy. Congratulations on the championship, but you made sure you didn't go away quietly here tonight. Walk us through the journey that you had.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have my mic muted. Yeah, I knew we had a really good shot with the big lead that we had going into this week, and I knew I had to just have a solid race. And even though it didn't go like we planned, we ended up having to take the championship. I obviously wanted to fight with the guys at the top, but the car was really loose at the beginning, and it just we just made a wrong adjustment right before the race, and it just didn't end up like Ryan and Kyle was. So just trying to hold off Souza there, and he eventually moved me, and pretty much all hell broke from loose there. So not the ending that we wanted, but obviously got away with the big trophy at the end.
Now, we saw a little bit of drama there throughout the race. Walk us through some of that. Seems like you just couldn't keep your nose clean one way or another. You're trying to keep clean. You're trying to get things the way they should be. But, man, it just something kept on happening.
Yeah, we had that incident with Kyle on the restart there, and I didn't mean to move him up that much, but and then Brandon just kept pinching me there into turn 4, which close racing it happens, and then my left front was pointing right, my right front was pointing left, so I pretty much had going straight like a snowplow. Just couldn't keep it above 80 miles an hour after that, so just trying to keep out of harm's way after that and just bring it home to the end.
And that you did all season long. It's been a battle for you. We've talked about it, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago. We talked about how it was a struggle to begin the season. You didn't really get the luck that you needed. You would have something good going for you, and then something would come up. And the season started to turn around for you, and here you are, the champion. Any shout-outs you'd like to give? Any thank yous, hellos to while we got you here?
Yeah, of course. I got to thank all my sponsors, Montanary Fuel, the Dempsey's of Business Time Motorsports, A. Papa John Construction, Pete Matt and Chris Garcia, Keith Rocco Racing, Pettit Engines for the awesome horsepower, Nest Auto, all my other sponsors, Jim's Welding, Ultimate Restoration. Of course, I got to say thanks to the boys, B. Wilkes, Ryan Blanchard, Andrew Muller, Kyle Ely, all the guys there, and of course the Sadlers. And everyone watching tonight from watching for me. Thank you guys so much, and we did it.
And we can't help but say thank you for the show that you've put on. Either if you're running up front, you're running in the back, or in the middle, you always gave us something to talk about and gave the fans something to watch. So again, congratulations. Enjoy this. Let this soak in. I'm sure this will be one of many to come.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
All right, and I'm going to kick it over to Paul. Paul, you got anybody else here with us tonight?
That I do. I have the race winner here tonight, and I've actually been calling him by the wrong name, apparently, according to the champ, Teddy Hodgdon. I've caught up with Kyle Ely, as I've been told his name is pronounced. Kyle, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, gotcha.
Cool deal, man. Great race. We saw you led the entire race. 92 laps all the way through, and that was basically all the caution laps, the green, white checkers, everything. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, the car was really good. I got a really good setup when the practice opened, and Brendan Wilkinson, he really helped me out through the race, and he gave me a really good car, and them caution laps really were concerning there at the end, and we ended up on the top, and we ended up winning the race, and we were pretty fast all night, and we were gonna run for our money there at the end with the green white checkers, and I just knew that I had to keep my mind into it to win the race, and congrats to Teddy on the great season. Ryan gave me a good run for my money there at the end, and until he got wrecked. It's unfortunate for him, but on to next season. I'd just like to thank Dylan Kopeck for putting the show on, and yeah.
Absolutely, and we heard from a lot of the couple of the drivers we talked to, and we saw it on the booth. Kyle, you did some fantastic work on the restarts there. To be able to shake it up just a little bit, kind of change up your momentum and change up the style and change up how and where you were getting on the heavy pedal. Is that something that you've kind of practiced and worked on all season long, or is that just something that kind of came to you naturally?
My main goal during that race was, to help Brandon out a little bit, and I've never really practiced the top side before on the restarts, and we were really good, and I knew I wanted to help Brandon there on the starts by counting him down and taking the top, so he could roll with me a little bit there. It actually worked out for us by just mixing up the restarts like that. It actually screwed up second place a little bit, it seemed like, in my head, and I had to keep taking the top to help Brandon, like I said, to top's definitely if you could get your car to roll up there on the top, then it's a place that you want to be. Then you know, my car was really good on the top tonight, and I'd just like to give a huge thank you to Brandon Wilkinson for that. Yeah.
Fantastic race. Started first, finished first, led all the laps. Doesn't get much perfect than that. Kyle, do want to give you just one more last opportunity. Thank any friends, family, sponsors. We see that the car is plain black. Is there's some way these potential sponsors may be able to get in touch with you to try and get some color onto that race car?
Oh yeah, first I'd like to thank my mommy and my daddy for
I'm sorry.
you know um oh you know just like to thank them for um
Blanchard.
never mind.
And that was your race winner, Kyle Ely, doing a great job starting the race in first, finishing first, and leading every single lap. So fantastic to see Kyle putting on a show here. Teddy Hodgdon, your champion. Wes, that was a fantastic season.
That was a fantastic interview.
But
you catching my voice.
great to be able to great to be able to catch up with these guys. And Dylan Kopech, lead administrator, has some things he's got to handle, so he's not going to be able to catch up with us here. But I can guarantee you he'll be at Stafford Speedway for open practice next Saturday, and I'm excited to see some new friends and some old friends and some people I haven't seen before. But we're going to take a look right now at the upcoming events here on Verdane TV tomorrow night. Doubleheader, 7 o'clock is going to be the Florida Pro Truck Challenge Series, and at 9 o'clock the Crash Dummy Invitational Series. A new client of ours. They put on a great show last week at Daytona in the trucks, and going to be running trucks again tomorrow night. We are off Tuesday night, but Wednesday we return to New Smyrna for the World E Series of Racing. Thursday night, that's going to be the Tim's Corner Motorsports special event, and then we start to move into the Tim's Corner Motorsports Super Late Model 250, brought to you by Tranquility, Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And next Saturday, looking forward to this, man, East Coast Winter League, the East Coast Classic. Going to be running the 87 Cup cars, the Cup cars that they ran in the late 80s at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and that's going to be a very, very cool show. A little one-off special event to kind of cap off the season here at the East Coast Winter League, and we're going to be giving you all the action here live. But man, great race here tonight, Wes. We got a lot of green flag laps in, got a couple of green-white checkers, just a little bit of everything here at Stafford Speedway. Final thoughts?
Well, this is a lot of fun. I think we did what we aimed to do, and that was put on a show for the masses during this pandemic. And believe me, this isn't over, but this was the first league that we actually got to call, basically in its entirety. So we are happy to do so. Cannot wait for the next ride for these guys. Dylan Kopech's done a really good job putting this whole thing together. Great job being an admin as well. And that's already a tall task to have. So that was a lot of fun. I love calling these races with these guys. I learned a lot about short track. I've learned a lot about a lot of these drivers as well.
Absolutely. We've caught up with one more driver here that's kind of come up. Sounds like he's got his phone going on in the background. And it doesn't look like we've got any kind of contact. His name is Replay in here in the server if we get a copy. Nope, okay. He was trolling. All right, so that's going to wrap it up here for Verdane TV here for tonight. Great race, great championship battle. Congratulations to Kyle Ely, who won the race, and Teddy Hodgdon, who won the championship in a strong showing. Great racing all the way around here. That's like you said, Wes, these are the first series that we pretty much broadcast the entire series as we tried to test some things out with these guys. And big shout out and thank you to Dylan Kopech for allowing us to do so. But we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to get everything packed into the production trailer. We got a double header tomorrow night, so we got to get some sleep here tonight and eat our Wheaties in the morning, because a lot of action to call here on Verdane TV live tomorrow night, and we're going to be doing it live, so make sure you come out and check us out. Be sure to like us on Facebook, share, follow, all that good stuff. hit the subscribe button over on YouTube and give us a follow over there on Twitch. But we will catch you on the flip side. Thanks so much for coming out. We'll have yourselves a great night.